Merry Christmas. I know we won't be able to get together this year, so I thought in lieu of that, and usually when we get together, I always bring my spinach pie and everybody always asks for my recipe. I thought I'd make a video, and my son Tom is helping me with his GoPro. So we're going to make a video on how to make my Spanakopita, which is also known as spinach pie. So before we get started, I just have to acknowledge that the recipe that I've been making all these years was given to me by my good friend, a gentleman I used to work with by the name of Pete Vizera. So this is Pete's recipe. So just for acknowledgement, this wasn't my recipe. I got it from Pete. Okay? So, but I thought I'd share this with you because everyone's always asking me, and I figured before I croak and you sprinkle me on the Delaware River, I figured I'll share this recipe with you so you'll have it forever and you can make it yourself. Okay, so before I start, I'm going to tell you all the ingredients that you need, okay? If you're going to do this, if you're going to decide to prepare a Spanakopita. I thought I had nice glass bowls, but I don't. I just got stainless steel bowls. Okay, you get 1 package of Athens Phyllo Dough, okay? Only use Athens Phyllo Dough if you can get it, because this is the best phyllo dough there is on the market, okay? And then you get 2 to 3 boxes of chopped spinach, okay? It has to be chopped spinach, not whole spinach. What you do is defrost it and then squeeze all the water out of it with your hands. You make little balls, okay? That's what I do. But this is only 2 boxes. I'm going to make it very spinachy, okay? Then you need 2 eggs, okay? Beat very well. And 16 ounces of Feta cheese, 4 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese, and 1 package of Friendship farmer's cheese, okay? And then you have to get a sweet onion, a large sweet onion, medium to large sweet onion, chopped very well, diced, and cooked till it's almost caramelized. So you need to do this before you start. You have to cook it for about 20 to 30 minutes, okay, before it really gets very soft, okay? And then you let it cool, okay? You can't use it hot, okay? And then you need 1½ sticks of butter, melted, okay? And maybe a ½ teaspoon of salt to mix in with the eggs, okay? And then a jar of sesame seeds, very important, okay? And this you can get either in the supermarket, but I get this in the Asian food market. They're really good. They're toasted sesames. Don't get raw sesame seeds, okay? This is for the end when you sprinkle it on this sesame. Everybody likes that, okay? And then you need a large rectangular cooking pan. It could be either glass or metal. Do not use an aluminum, a disposable aluminum pan. I'll explain that to you at the end, why you should not use that, okay? Okay, let's get started. Okay, and what you do now is you take the onions and mix the onions in with the spinach, okay? The onions should be cooled by now, okay? You do not want to put hot onions into your spinach because you're going to put eggs in this, okay? Got it all in? I should have like a sexy cooking assistant, but she's busy wrapping presents right now. I promised her a part in this dubious exercise, but she's busy. Hold on a second, let me get all the onions out. Okay. Thank you, Tom. Okay, mix it. Mix the onions well first with the spinach, okay, so you get them really mixed nice. Okay. And then you combine the I also mixed, I didn't show that, I mixed the chopped dill in with the spinach before I did that. Okay, so the dill is already mixed in with this. Dill is very important. You don't have to put it in if you don't want to, if you don't like dill, but I think it gives a nice taste to it. Okay, okay, now I'm putting in the Feta cheese and the Friendship farmer's cheese and the cream cheese. Mixing this is good. This is going to be a very, like I said, a very cheesy spinach pie as opposed to very spinachy. It all depends on your like. You can put less feta and less cheese if you like. If you're not a big cheese fan, you really have to have some sort of cheese in there. Okay, you could also use Parmesan cheese. Start the phyllo dough phase of it. Okay, like I said, you get Athens Phyllo Dough. Okay, and you need a good pastry brush. Okay, if you don't have one, this is a 2-inch pastry brush that I use for wiping the butter on the phyllo. Okay, it's very important that you have a good brush. Okay, now the phyllo, this phyllo, Athens Phyllo, comes in 2 packages. I'm going to use both of them today. Everybody likes the dough when it's cooked. So, prepare the pan. You take the butter and wipe all the edges with the butter. Line the pan with butter before you place the first phyllo dough. Okay, 1 sheet. Now this is very important because the phyllo dough is like tissue paper. Okay, it's very, very thin, and but it's very forgiving. So if you break one, don't worry about it. Okay, just lay this in the butter, the first layer, and you basically say I tore it. It's no big thing if it's torn. Just lay it around and overlap. Make sure it goes over the edges. And you do this for a couple of sheets. And sometimes you can also use 2 sheets. Like if you can't open one, see the way I'm doing it? Lay it over there, like this. Because what's going to happen, it's going to encase the filling so it doesn't ooze out when you cook it. Okay? And then with that, take a little butter. And you just wipe a little of it at a time. You pat it. Okay, because in the course of cooking, it'll all melt into the dough. Okay. See that? See what I'm doing here? Okay. And now we're ready for another layer. This is the bottom portion of it, okay? And you want to have this so that it'll be strong enough to contain the fillings. I use maybe 6 or 7. And again, you don't use a lot of butter, you just brush it on. So this way it'll ensure that there's separation of the layers when they cook. And you do it in all different ways. Like I'm doing it this way, see? Hold on. Hold on. Do a layer this way. Okay, I've lined the bottom of the pan, and I'm going to put the filling in the pan. Dump it all in. Like I said, this is a very cheesy spinach pie. Okay, now you press it in to the pan. Make sure it's evenly distributed in the pan. Okay, press it down. See the way you're pushing it into the sides? The big globby mess here. It's going to be a deep pan. You got it? See? You got the picture. Smooth it so it's nice and flat, if you can. Nice and even. Okay, we're smoothing it out now. It's all nice and even, firm. Now we'll start putting on the top layer. And you flip over the pieces that were overlapping. It's very important to keep in mind that the phyllo dough gets dry very quickly, so you kind of have to do this quick. Be ready, have everything ready. I'll flip this all over. Okay. And as you flip it over, you may want to just give it a little splash of butter. See what I'm doing here? Basting the phyllo with some butter. Flip this over. You may have to at times return the butter to the heat to make it. Right now it's getting thick because it's cooled down. Okay, I may have to get it warm so it's a little more pliable on the phyllo. But right now it's all right. See, it's getting thick because it's cooled down. Okay. Okay, now you've finished. Now we're going to start with the top layer. Okay, and that's very easy. You just fold them over like this. This pan's small enough so that it doesn't go over the whole length of the pan, so I fold them over, and you can do that, okay? That's all right. But you do it evenly. Make sure when you're layering the sheets, okay? Lay the sheets like that. Okay, I'm folding them. Make sure I get a little butter. Sometimes you may use 2 sticks of butter, okay? Depending on how you spread it out, you may just need that. Okay. Okay, we're just about near the last layers. Now in this case, I only used half the package. The other package is still sitting there, okay? Fold it over. And again, if it breaks, don't worry about that. Okay, you just slash it with butter, and when you flatten it out with the butter and layers, all those breaks don't amount to anything. Okay, the last layer. A lot of butter on it. And then what I'm going to do then is I want you to put it in the refrigerator for at least an hour so the butter can congeal. And that's a very important step, because I'll show you when you're done that you want to be able to cut it. And you can't cut it with a knife now because the phyllo is too soft and the butter's still soft. So we'll put it in the refrigerator and let the phyllo all harden with the butter. And then when it hardens, I'll show you how you cut it into the triangle shape. That's very important, because otherwise it's really difficult to cut. Okay? Alrighty, I'll show you. We'll come back when the phyllo is hard. Okay? Okay, hi everyone. Now I put the finished Spanakopita and I chilled it, okay, for about an hour and a half. So the butter now that was soft and very soft is now firm, okay, and it's mixed in with the phyllo. So it's easy to cut, and because if you cut this phyllo dough right after using it and the butter's soft, it'll ruin the phyllo, okay? So that's why you have to chill it for an hour and a half, okay? So it's chilled, so it's very firm. You can feel the cold is. And that's why I spoke before. I'm not using an aluminum pan, because what you're going to need to do is you need to cut deep with a very sharp knife, see? A pointed knife, and you need to cut this into the triangles or to the pattern that I always have on the thing. And you can only do it when it's cold. But in the process of cutting down, if you had an aluminum pan, it would cut through the aluminum pan, and then when you bake the Spanakopita, all the butter would I learned the hard way, the butter will ooze out and cause really messy situation in your oven. Okay, so that's why you have to use a firm pan, either metal or glass, but don't use the aluminum pan. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is cut the phyllo dough in a pattern, like a triangle pattern that you see. Cut it any way you like, in squares this way, but I always make the triangle pattern. I start by going down from one corner, and I cut. See what I'm cutting? Cut all the way to the end. So I cut it in half. I turn it this way. Cut it this way. Okay. Cut it, and it's easy to cut now that it's cold. Okay. If I did this right after I made it, it would be a real mess. Okay, now you go like this, make another row here. And you can make it as wide as you like. If you want to make big pieces, or you want to make, small. See, it's still a little, gotta be careful when you're cutting this. You do it gently, okay? And then make another pattern this way. And eventually when it cooks for that makes that nice triangle pattern that I always have. Got it in the oven now for 20 minutes at 450, and then another half hour to 40 minutes at 350, okay? So it should be done. Let's take a look. Looks pretty good. Look at it. See? Here we go. Ready? Let it cool down. Let it set for a little. Okay? Hi, everybody. Spinach pie is all completed, okay? It came out quite well. And we had it for dinner tonight, and we enjoyed it very much. So I'll let you guys go, and hopefully I'm going to do a video maybe of something Chinese for Chinese New Year, okay? Stay tuned, okay? Have a great New Year.